do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
What the is that, dude?
Well, g'day folks, how are you tonight? I hope you're doing all right. I've changed things around just a little bit, so I'm going to be looking there because that's where the camera is, but the laptop is actually here where I'll probably have to be doing some typing. That's going to have to change positions. And I'll be looking up there because that's where I can see you chatting. So it's all a bit of fun. Welcome to the Friday Night Free for All. An invitation has been issued to many. So far, nobody's bothered to turn up. But fingers crossed they will. Time zone's all dependent, and now that I think of that, that's a fairly stupid comment because I'm pretty confident we're all in the same time zone. One of those days. G'day, Dave-O. Nice to have you in first time round in a while, I think. Got a date with 15 kilos of barley this weekend, providing nothing weird happens. I've got to tell you, mate, anybody who's loving a date with 15 kilos of barley may already have a bit of weird going on in their life. Just saying. Aussie Sue, lovely to see you in too, darling. I was only saying the other night that I hadn't seen you for a while, so I really hope that things are well in your part of the world. I'm going to play with my camera here a bit, try and stick it up a bit higher. Said the actor, or the bishop to the actress. That would be probably the best way of describing that. All right. Who else? G'day, Brett. Good to have you in. Daniel, I start a comment from you I saw passing past. You had your first one-day ban from YouTube a couple of weeks ago. Well, mate, applause, but lift your game. Seriously. Your first one? God. Starseed, nice to see you back and wandering around. I gather you had a bit of an issue with YouTube. You and me both, brother. Had the same issue myself. But I haven't seen you in the chat for a while, so bloody good to see you about. So we must talk. I hope things are well in your world. JJ, J1, I'm only scanning. I'm not reading your comments. Everybody's having a bit of a catch-up by the look of it. Nice to see everybody in. Scotty T. If I'm skipping over people, I'm sorry. Tim Wilson, Timmy, I got your message. Your decision, brother. I'm not happy about Telstra doing what they're doing either. If for those folks who haven't caught up, I think Telstra advised the world on, might have been yesterday. When I say advised the world, they advised the market, the stock market, that they're going to drop 2,800 jobs. Now, where those 2,800 jobs are going to be taken from is yet to be seen, in which states and all that kind of thing. It won't be from Telstra customer service areas, apparently. It'll be from somewhere else. Let's hope it's not AI, because I don't know if you've ever had to deal with those numpties in the AI service for. Let me just get this. Ugh. You know, if you've ever had to use their app on the iPad or something like that, then bloody hell is about all I can say. Bloody hell. Unbelievably useless. And that initially is an AI until you scream loudly and longly enough and find somebody who can actually talk and type, and that would be a good thing. Unfortunately, Telstra and service are not two words that go together, and the cuts they're going to make are only going to make it harder for you to get connected to any kind of a reasonable service. God, the NBN stories, the connection stories of NBN, just unbelievable. Anyway, it is a bit of a Friday free for all, as I said. Vince and I got together with a whole pile of people on the Gold Coast last Sunday. We had a lovely lunch at the Boathouse Tavern in Oxenford or Coomera there. And one of the things to come out of that was they wanted to get the Friday free for all back happening again. And I thought, well, why not? It's a Friday coming up. Let's see what we can do. So this will sort of be a rolling one. There'll be people who'll be joining us, people who'll be dropping off. all because they've got better things to do on a Friday night, I'm sure, than to sit around here and wait for me to come in. One of those blokes, though, I've been trying to get, our timelines to cross for quite a while. And that's for various reasons. I've wanted him on the show, but I've also wanted him here on the bus. He's joining us tonight from somewhere close, I hope, to the Cali Hotel in Singleton. I'm wearing the wind cheater just to keep warm. Good evening, Phil. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. I'm actually sitting in the car park of the Kelly.
There you go. Well, say good day to Brad and Shane for me. I'm sure they'll be working the bar at the moment, and we'll look forward to catching up.
Already have done, and they said to say good day back.
Yeah, bloody great. So, Phil, for those folks who aren't aware, you are one of the solid Canberra standers. You've been part of it from day one. You are back and forth to Canberra on a very regular basis, but you offer a whole heap of other, not just support for the guys that are there, but you also offer a lot of advice in various different areas. We're going to cover a few of those tonight. The big news, I suppose, this week is digital ID. And given the way that we feel about privacy and what the government are trying to take away from us, I'm sure you've gone pretty hard on digital ID in the last few days. Is there any hope for us being able to avoid digital ID in the near future?
Well, it's still not. Still hasn't got the Queen's assent, which is a technicality really, because we know that the Governor General does what he's told because of his board that tell him what to do. So technically, it's still actually not a thing, even though it's been through the upper and lower house. Interesting enough, when it went through the one of the houses, there was no debate allowed on it at all, which tells you straight away alarm bells. And then when it went through the second house, they put it into the small chambers, which is where the public gallery aren't allowed, not the large chambers where the public gallery is. Only the media is allowed in the small one. So alarm bell number 2. Alarm bell number 3 for me was the fact that mainstream media never covered any of the rallies in all the major cities, which were fairly large. Unlike the Australia car, which was their version of it, back in I think that was the late 80s, I think. So, yeah, like alarm bells everywhere. I actually read the digital ID legislation 2 years ago out in front of one of the Parliament buildings down in Canberra doing a protest. It was alarming then. It's only got worse since then. Right. I was in contact with someone because part of Albanese and previous was that we wanted to be the world leaders in digital ID, right? Too late, because there's already Iceland, I think, is already digital ID big time. I was talking to someone from there, and she was saying that it's that bad that you basically your neighbour can look up, see what you bought from the grocery store. Anybody can see by your rego how much money you got left in your bank account, the whole lot. And it's getting that bad. But what they're having to do over there to get around it is they're getting nationality, so getting e-passports from foreign countries, and then getting bank accounts in those foreign countries and putting their money there, because bank accounts are getting frozen all the time for silly things like, parking fines or anything they consider that you've done badly. They freeze your bank account straight away over there. And usually on a Friday, she said, it seems to always be a Friday, so you're stuck for the whole weekend without any cash.
Wow.
And and she said it's that bad that they literally are looking for countries which do these electronic citizenships and then go opening bank accounts overseas from Iceland, so just so that they can get through the normal week. Everything's paid digitally pretty much. There's no such things anymore as tip jars and roadside stalls and stuff like that. It doesn't exist anymore. Flea markets, things like that. This is what we've got coming. Why? Because we didn't really stand up. Honestly, I was on Canberra. I was on the lawn out front of Parliament House by myself. Literally by myself.
That's sad, isn't it?
By myself. And one of the most radical things that's actually hit this country to date, and I was there by myself. And they got a spiel from me. They did. They literally got a spiel from me because it was over 3 days. It went for 3 days. I wasn't there every day by myself, but there was a few people called in here and left and came and went. And we did have one day there. We had a fairly good turnout. I've got some pretty wild PA systems. They pump out some pretty good wattage, and I know all their rules, so I know where I can put it, so they can't. They come down and say, "Oh, you have to turn your speaker around," and go, "Oh, yeah, what legislation or ordinance or what are you quoting there, law?" And they don't know because police don't get taught the law. And then I say, "Well, it's actually an ordinance that you're talking about, and you're wrong because I'm outside the AAA, the invisible line." And I said, "I can face it whichever way I want. You have no jurisdiction here." And then they go, "Oh, well, we're asking you." And I say, "Well, I'm not complying." And they get it anyway. Look.
Do they like you touched on it, but police these days, you're quite right, are not taught the law. They are taught how to enforce legislation. And there is a big difference there, isn't there?
There is a big difference, but they're not even really enforced. They if they are in a specific location, like say the PSOs, protective services of areas and stuff like that, they do understand certain legislation. Or if they're like the motorbike cop or a road traffic cop, they'll understand those sorts of legislations, but they won't still understand the law or other legislations which are connected to that as such. What they are taught is to achieve a goal for the day. If they come across a protest, for instance, they will issue a writ of, usually their favourite one is breach of the peace. And then because we have legislation which says they don't actually have to charge you with the law that they arrested you under, then when you get back to the watch house, they'll come up with another charge, or they may use the same one, but they'll probably come up with another one, and then they have up to 2 years to charge you with anything they want.
Wow. That
2
doesn't
years.
seem like okay.
Doesn't seem right, does it?
Camera footage and retrospectively charge you.
From the arrest that you're, because all they need to do is arrest you, so they just make up of whatever. And generally, we found out in Canberra that what were the charges were not what they were arrested for. Because they would make. Yeah. Yep. They actually had
They've also become very adept at not following through on those charges, or dismissing a lot of them at the door, or trying to make it the
I've been unarrested.
Financial cost and impost on the person charged without actually following through with it and taking it to court. Yeah.
So they'll quite often give you what appears a slap on the wrist and some fine, and you'll go away and you'll go, "Oh, thank Christ I didn't have to go to court and didn't have face the maximum sentence of 2 years or 2.5 years, actually, because if it's anything over that, it can't go through a magistrate's court." And you'll go that, and then you'll run away. But thankfully, we've had quite a few people that have gone, no, I'm not copping that shit, and appealing that and enforcing them to the court and then appealing them again. A lot of people don't realise that if you go to a magistrate's court, if it's over, I think it might be 2.5 or 3 years jail or $2,500 fine for the maximum penalty, they can't do it through a magistrate's court. It has to go to a Supreme Court. So what they'll do is they'll actually try to pretend to be your friend, and they'll go, "Oh, we'll offer to lower the maximum that we're going to ask for down to 2 years jail or $2,000. And you'll go, "Oh, yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'll agree with that," because they have to get you to agree to it, and then they can put you through the magistrate's court. But if you didn't agree to it, they'd have to send it to the High Court or the Supreme Court usually, depending if it's a constitutional thing.
Well, someone we're both pretty close to is experiencing just that next month when his Supreme Court trial starts in the ACT Supreme Court in Canberra.
You're dropping out, or I'm
In and
dropping out, one
both
of the
us
two.
tonight. What's your expectation with Paul's case next month?
Yeah, there's well, look, it's a railroad. It's a railroad. It's the same things David McBride. You know, they said to David McBride, I'm just going to jump back to him for a sec just to give it some reference. They said to David McBride when they first went in there, we're not going to ask for a custodial sentence. It's going to be like a maximum thing. Will be a home detention. You know, we're not going to ask for jail time. Yeah, it's all going to be, you know, slap on the wrist, blah blah blah. And he had to plead guilty. People don't realize he had to plead guilty because they actually pulled the national interest card out and said that his evidence that he was going to use to say that he was innocent was stuff that was top secret and couldn't be put out there. So he basically lost his ability to fight it. So he had to plead guilty, really. And then when it came down to the crunch day, they went, oh, yeah, no, we are going to ask for a custodial sentence and a minimum of 2 years per charge and the whole lot, basically. And that was mainly, I believe, just to keep him quiet while he was out of jail, because he was, you know, if he started speaking too much. Interesting enough, too, their star witness who was brought to the stand and asked if his stuff that he released was actually top secret, he said no. So they withdrew the evidence from their own star witness. Crazy. And they railroaded him. And this is what's going to happen to Paul. You know, they're charging him with, I think it's 2 counts of drive at police with intent. Well, anybody watches the video, he's not even moving. It doesn't even look like he's moving most of the time. And then they're also charging him with evade arrest. Well, they never tried to arrest him because they didn't actually want to incite the crowd. And the only time that he walked away from the police was a safety issue because one of the officers jumped in the cab thinking that he was Mr. Know-it-all and pushed the red button in, which is the maxi brakes, which means the truck was then a 4-ton lethal machine just rolling around on the ground. And he ran around and Paul jumped around and drained the air tanks, which brings the brakes on automatically on a truck as soon as it runs out of air. That was the only time he actually left the police that he was talking to, was to actually make the vehicle a safe vehicle while it was parked there. But they railroaded him again. You know, Paul's main problem is that he hasn't got the funds to fight this. You know, that pretty much he's the only person who's faced serious jail time in out of the big rally of 1 million odd people, and we can't even donate a coffee to him. You know, I think there's, you know, 45 grand, which goes nowhere in a legal case nowadays in his fund, which only was donated by only 400 people. The rest is like $1 from everybody who was there would have more than enough to fight the Crown. But no, we can't stand behind our own people. And this is what really aggravates me. I think you can probably tell by the way I'm talking.
Yeah. And that's the most annoying thing for all of us. There's a lot of people who do a lot of talking, particularly about how wonderful Canberra was. But then for Paul Offey and others, that has had ongoing ramifications now for 3 years, near enough. And, and
well, they tried to sell his truck the other day.
Oh,
they tried to sell his truck the other day. Yeah, they had another go. Yep, so another injunction because they said, oh, it's degrading and it's not going to be worth as much. And, yeah, no, we'll give you the money if you win the case. He doesn't want the money. He wants his $200,000 truck. Who else in this game has lost a $200,000 vehicle?
Yeah, absolutely nobody. And this was to be Paul's, you know, employment plan. The truck was in a movie. It had work lined up. It was going to be Paul had got a limo license, so you would have been able to do one of those sort of novelty rides around the Gold Coast in it. Hell of a truck. And the police have destroyed it, essentially. So I guess the nice bit about that is, God willing, the case will be won for Paul, and then the ACT will have to wind up replacing that vehicle, and it's going to be a damn side more expensive to replace, given
well, they didn't sell it. There was another injunction on it, so they've still got it. So they just have to repair it. They'll get a charge to repair it if we get it back for him. I'm confident that we will get the vehicle back. Interestingly enough, I don't know if people realise it was actually on the day there was a head police officer there that was running the show. Actually said, "I'm going to own that truck. You watch."
Yeah.
he was heard saying this.
Yeah. Yes, so there's some very interesting footage coming from a variety of areas. In fact, I was talking to the Offie boys the other day. If anybody watching this at the moment actually has footage of the Freedom truck as it's travelling along the top road prior to it being broken into, windows smashed, and Paul being assaulted, if you've got any vision of that from behind, like if you happen to be walking up the hill, and there were a lot of people walking up there at the time. So it was up coming up to the intersection right in front of Parliament House, and he was looking to go left, and they were going to try and turn him right or thereabouts. But anyway, just want to have a look at any vision from behind the truck if you happen to be there, anytime at all. You saw that vehicle and you happen to be filming from behind. We've got a lot of footage from a variety of other areas. We are particularly interested for a reason from behind. So if you can do that, you can reach out to me, carl@vofhq.com, or you can upload it at our website, contrib.vofhq.com. It can be anonymously uploaded there, or you can tell us your name in the comments or the description if you so desire. You must put something in the description if you want to upload to the site, but it takes no identifying information whatsoever. And you would be helping Paul and his team out in a significant way.
Very significant way.
Yeah. And of course, we did talk about Paul the other day, and I know a lot of Voice of Freedom followers have donated to Paul in the past. And as well, I thought a few more than 400 total, but I'm very surprised that that number is so small, given that Ari's had him on. Well, I was going to say the Aussie Cossack there for a minute, but that's probably not the case.
It's not the case. And the Aussie Cossack volunteered to pay for it all. Well, I'm not going to say anything there.
Mate, just on the privacy bill for 1 second, there is a thing going around on the interwebs suggesting that there is a win for people who are being forced to voluntarily accept digital ID, which has been enforced now with government or legislative backing, but prior to now it's been warmed up in a number of areas. So this is
8 months ago was when I first seen what. Sorry, Carl. 8 months ago, I first seen the ads coming out on YouTube for digital ID. But continue.
So this fella here has said he was going to put in his or renew his electrician's license, and the Electrical Safety Office claimed that for the license to be renewed, that he must obtain a MyGov digital ID. In other words, they were blackmailing him and saying that if you want to be able, you wouldn't be able to put food on your family's table unless you submitted to their request for a digital ID. Tried reasoning with them, tried emails, phone calls, the whole thing. They weren't changing their position. They claimed there was no other way around it to renew his license, though, through the online portal, which required a digital ID. So stepped it up a bit, wrote a formal letter explaining that there was no consultation, nor did they agree to that a contract existed, which states that you must obtain a digital ID to continue your employment as an electrician, and asking them to provide evidence to back up this thing they were trying to enforce. And lo and behold, there were no words to the body of the email and the reply he got after a while, just the renewal worksheets all filled out. He had a win. Is that a loophole, or is that a way that we can look at going forward to protect ourselves against because we all know what the government says when it says, oh, it'll be voluntary.
Yep. So same with the Coalboard Medical guys and Kyle. Same with Coalboard Medical. They're saying, oh, you have to get this digital ID to do it. There's no other way around it. Someone has pushed back over in WA about it. Got basically the same reply as what you're talking about. A way around it, and it's what it is. It's not legislation that you have to have one. It's the same as the coal in the coal industry with the mandates with the forced medical procedure, was that what they've done is they've made it lucrative for the companies to do it that way. With the coal companies back in with forced medical procedure, it was a 75% tax break for 3 years. I don't know exactly what they've done lucrative wise, but to do with the medical certificate for the coal, they've basically told the CEOs they will get something if they do it this way, and the CEOs just pass it down the line to all the lower companies or the contractors. This is how it's done now. There's no other way. And this is what they'll do. This is how they'll get it. They're going to do like to get your parenting payment to pay for your kids in preschool and stuff like that. You'll have to get the MyGov ID, digital ID.
Yep.
They've even told you on the ads that's what digital ID is. It's that MyGov is a digital ID. So they're gonna push it that way.
It's a good point to introduce Becky-O from Truth Seekers, who's joining us at the moment, because one of her cohorts, I think it was Doris, sent me this, which is suggesting just what you're saying. Now, this is all about new vaccination laws or new vaccines being offered to Year 7 students in Victoria. Boostrix is what this thing is called. But if you have any questions, yada, 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 go through this portal. And it's a VicGov education portal. Once again, you'll have to provide some digital hoop jumping to get through there. Hello, Beck. Hope you're going okay. Is that a concern for people in Victoria at the moment, Becky-O? Are they waking up to this? If you've got Year 7 kids, I bet you are.
For all the immunisations, Carl. Sorry, I had Doris on the line. She can't get in.
Carl, can I just jump out here, mate? I'm gonna have to skip out. So nice to meet you,
Phil.
Beck.
Yep.
Thanks, Carl.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Gotta go.
Go and say good day to the
See
boys
you later,
in the
guys.
Valley, mate. Thanks for chiming in. See you when you get up here.
No worries, mate. We'll do.
Chat around the campfire.
See ya. Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
Mate. Cheers. That's Phil Jones. All right, Becky-O, you're in. Doris might be able to get in now, and I'll bring in, what I can only say is the best hair in the business, even if it is looking a little blue and purple and weird to a point where you can't even see him. Hello, it's the Galactic Larrikin Robert himself. Oh, look, the lovely Doris is joining us.
Oh, there she is. She made it.
And I think Noah. Yeah, there's Noah from deep inside the ark.
I feel like the break.
Hello, Bradford, you're on. Have you got the camera attached to your toe or something and just stretched out on the chair?
Yes, sorry. Is that better?
One of those point of view cameras. I see how it works. Right. So I'm unaware whether or not the Galactic Larrikins have ever met the Truth Seekers. So Galactic Larrikins, please meet Truth Seeker TV.
Very nice to meet you.
And Doris, of course, is the owner of what I must say is some of the most magnificent honey that she produces herself from her own backyard. But she does so much more, which we'll get on to talking to about in the not too distant future. In Victoria at the moment, Year 7 vaccines coming up, a new one called Boostrix, because it's going to help kids with tetanus and, oh, God, all these other bloody excuses. Feeling the kids are going to have, are the kids themselves pushing back?
Well, I know from my experience, Carl, I just, when Mitchell got that, my son, I just didn't send him to school. They already knew that I didn't agree with anything in that regard. I sent them a formal letter saying that I don't consent with anything medical to be done to my son at school. So that's how I tackled the situation.
I've also sent a letter to the school right up the beginning when we were, signing in, and but they don't really give two hoots about your concerns. I made it known, or I made them aware that their powers of the education sort. My healthcare will be taken up with my own healthcare professionals. So, but it's been proven that any notes that I have sent before were completely dismissed. So, yeah, it's
Okay, so just give me a second here. I'm going to try and change my connections because we're dropping in and out and carrying on. So I'm going to drop in or drop out, as the case might be, briefly. But just talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a sec.
Take it away, fellas. Let's go.
Yeah. What's with the blue light? I actually want to know what's with the blue light.
You're muted, honey.
Maybe I'm not dropping out. There you go.
Oh,
maybe
you're still here.
Maybe it's a seamless change. Here I am thinking, oh, that'll be the end of me. But no, doesn't appear to be. All right, I'm going to stop that stream so I can concentrate on these ones. Yes, I don't know whether or not the Galactic Larrikins are actually ready to speak yet. They've been wandering around in their purple cave, clearly having a few issues. Bradford, are you there? Can you speak utterances from your utterance utterer?
You're muted.
Okay, I'll unmute myself. Oh, there we go.
Well, there
it's
you
only
go.
used just one mic, so it didn't cause feedback.
There you go.
There you go.
Technical
Anyway.
words, technical thinking. Wonderful.
You didn't hear my
all
comment?
right, we've done the introduction.
I was
we know we
curious to hear how you. Sorry, I wanted to hear how you produce honey. I thought bees produced honey, but Carl's saying that you guys actually produce it. No.
I don't know what happened there. You just drifted off into the nothingness.
Oh no, I heard what he was saying. No,
Excellent.
I don't produce the honey. No, I don't know what Carl is on about. I simply
You do have your beehive out the back.
I do have a beehive, so I go and help myself to some of the honey that my bees produce.
Wow, this is going really well. So, Darling is having a connection.
Yeah, so Carl's dropping out. Let's continue. So what did everyone think about the helicopter crash with the Iranian president or whatever? Do we think it was foul play, bit of Mossad involved? No one's following that.
I think it's a setup. I think, he was taken out. Obviously, they needed to get rid of him for some reason. I haven't really dived that much into that one. But obviously, there's something behind it. They needed to get them out, get him out for a reason. God, we're having a ripper of a night tonight. We're all stuffing up a little bit.
There is definitely echo coming through. Are you guys in the same home?
Yeah.
Okay. You're too close together. You're too close, and that's why the feedback is coming through. I'm just talking from experience. You have to separate.
Maybe you might need to sit on each other's laps. I reckon that will be a good one for the show.
I'm just thinking that the entire system is overloading a bit because of my location. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and my stomach is slightly impeded with a gum tree, but we are trying to work on the Telstra one, which usually would pick us up okay, and it has at the moment. It could drop out at any second, and you guys all look frozen. So I'm wondering, I know there are a lot of people watching at the moment, and it might just be dragging the bandwidth down. Dingo, thank you very much for your donation. You're a bloody gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate it. And I did see something from Sunflower saying she wasn't sure if the donations do come through. yes, apparently I was told the other day by Cass that we did get a donation thing through, so from Google. So I gather that might have been mostly you, Sunflower. But yeah, we did get it through. It takes about 3 or 4 months or whatever it is for it to actually get to us. But yes, it does get to us. Okay, so thanks, boys. You've taken one camera out of the mix. That might slow things down a little bit. My Place Jim Boomba tonight. I guess if you're going, you're probably already there. Cass and I think Jamie Church from Ainsley Bullion are having a chat there tonight. So hello to everybody at Ainsley and also, beg your pardon, at My Place Jim Boomba. I'm dog sitting, and consequently, that might mean you're going to get introduced to Kobe. Hey, Kobe. He's standing at the door looking expectantly at it like I'm going to let him out of it. And that's not likely. Not because he's likely to run off and chase or do anything deep in the dark. He just is scared of the dark. But he may need to go to the loo, which might mean we're going to have a bit of a conversation. Well, I want to give a bit of a conversation starter. And let me go to my little... Yes, I can hear you, mate. You'll be all right. I want to play something here from the Queensland Premier, which came up, I think, today.
I remember how scary it is when you have a sick baby. It's a number one priority of ours to make sure we protect our young children and also relieve the pressure on our hospital systems. And that's why we're announcing today that we will immunise newborn babies and babies up to 8 months, as well as vulnerable infants, to protect them from RSV, to keep them out of hospital, to reduce the number of parents experiencing that terrible, stressful time of having their child in hospital. The Health Minister did a fantastic job convincing the manufacturer to reserve a batch of these vaccines for Queensland babies and infants.
He looked a little nervous, didn't he?
Yeah, he always does, unfortunately. He looks like a rabbit stuck in the headlights. That's the Queensland Premier announcing that Queenslanders are lucky to have secured a new shot, an experimental jab. And we are so lucky to be able to put it into our children, our infants, our newborns first. Thankfully, I don't know anybody that's pregnant at the moment, but a warning that I put out a little while back when the Queensland government put out a recent or another new jab at birth, like the day the child is born, they get their first jab within minutes. A mutual friend of the Galactic Larrikins and I refused when his baby was born, refused them access to any way, jab them or immunise them, and managed to get out of the hospital without having to run and fight them off, managed to get out of the hospital. It is possible to make that choice and stick with it. A bit like the voluntary thing that Phil and I were talking about before. So Victoria, girls, was hit hardest with these vaccine mandates, if you like, and also it seems many Victorians, particularly in the outer regions of Victoria, the regional areas of Victoria, swallowed the story hook, line, and sinker. Is that a fair assessment?
Sure is.
Sure is. 100%.
And they're still walking around with masks on today.
Oh, the mask brigades are back in town. Very much so, very much so. Well, you know, we've got the what have we got? The flirt variant, as well as, of course, Victoria, the place to be. 2 of our chicken farms are now
Three now. I think.
Three.
Yep.
Geez, where I've been the last couple of hours. Yeah, what's the chicken and egg shortage coming?
So this is the chicken flu that was discovered in Mexico in a chook and made its way to a chook and then to a human in Victoria in 24 hours.
I know. But
Mm.
have no fear, because the vaccine is here. They've already got a vaccine for that. Or should we actually be saying that out loud? Or are we okay to say
Just
things
excuse me
like
for a second, folks. I'm just going to go and let the dog out and tie him up so he can't run off into the night. I'll be back. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can see this, guys. Can you see that?
A chicken with a
It's
green
a rooster. Yeah, it's a good looking rooster.
So it's
Fully vaccinated. It's our pass here in Victoria now. We need to show that before we get in anywhere.
Oh my God.
Is that
I
coming
can't
through the chat?
Satire or
It's got to
this
be
is real
satire.
life.
I know it's hard to tell these days, isn't
This
it?
is satire.
So all the chickens. So we've got to find chickens that aren't mRNA'd.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
it's going to be very hard to find.
Well,
Because you get a lot of these chicken farmers that, are awake and mysteriously their lights go out or something happens to their sheds, or obviously, the
Fires
corruption.
seem to be a common one in America at the moment. They seem to have a lot of problems with fires and explosions in their food production and chicken farms.
Yeah.
For a while now, we've been getting meat through Stockland Steaks. Stockman's, not
Yeah,
Stocklands. That's bloody Stockland Plaza. Stockman's Steaks, which are all guaranteed mRNA free, and they have chicken and pork and lamb and beef.
Yeah.
Not that that's an ad, because we don't have an affiliate.
We don't have an affiliate link, but
we'll sign up for one. Surely.
Yeah. But did get onto it because of Maria Z. Actually,
Pay up, people. Pay up.
Well, I've been watching a lot of stuff recently about farmers dragging magnets through their soil and discovering things that shouldn't be in the soil. So while I appreciate that a lot of this beef and lamb and pork is being grown in that fashion, can we be actually sure that they're not getting this nanotechnology into it just simply because it's on the grass that's being eaten by them?
That is possible, yeah. But I guess you just got to reduce your risk as much as you can.
Yeah,
try and detox.
Well, certainly, I would choose a cow that was, brought up in a paddock eating grass rather than one that had been injected with God knows what before it went to the abattoir or were at the. There is a mob in South Australia who are doing a brilliant paddock to plate thing at the moment. You can get half a sheep for $130, I think, delivered, including dog bones wrapped up. It's real paddock to plate stuff. They sold over $1 million worth of meat through 4 butchers who've teamed together to do this, is my understanding. Now, how do we formulate that kind of thing, in Victoria, in Queensland, where we are?
Well, there are some co-ops like that happening here as well. So there are ways that we can actually get our hands on, whether it's pasture raised chickens and obviously without the jab, but then more needs to be done. 100% needs, there's more effort that needs to be done. It needs to be a bit more widespread. So getting some butchers involved, that's an idea. But I'm not sure, Carl, if any of you have ever joined the farmers meetings that we used to hold with the My Place community. That was some mind-blowing stuff that we were learning, where, there was a lot of farmers that were under the impression that they had to vaccinate. They had to vaccinate their beef, their chickens prior to taking them to market. That was the misconception, right? Just like with our jabs, it was highly recommended, but it wasn't forced. Yet a lot of them were under the impression that unless they did that and undertook that route, they weren't able to sell to market. So having these chats, having these chats and discussions where people can come together and share is crucial, absolutely crucial.
The interesting thing would be if they said they're highly recommended to have these things, but then if the transport companies then would turn around and say, "Oh no, we only transport jabbed cattle." That's basically what they do with us. It's not
exactly the abattoir.
You go to the pub or do anything if you're not, or go to work or.
Yep. Apparently, it's the other parts that are,
sorry,
Tony.
Doris, but you were also finding when you were going to a lot of the farmers back in when it all started that a lot of them were just not interested. They were too scared of the repercussions from the government, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They had contracts. They were
Yeah.
bound by contracts.
Mm.
What's it like? I haven't been in those farmers' meetings, Doris, but I'd love to be part of them, particularly in areas where this isn't already started. What is their biggest or greatest challenges in doing all that, or what are the greatest challenges we face? I imagine one of them, particularly in the case of Queensland, and I'm sure the boys will agree now that they've moved here and started digging. Distance is the tyranny that we face.
Logistics.
600 k's north of me, it was beef week. Now, if there was a time, I guess, to get together and catch up with all the beef producers, that was it. Unfortunately, I was here, otherwise employed with Vince. But that's the kind of place we've got to get to, and start striking up deals with these producers, fair, equitable deals. And can we do this with vegetable producers, with citrus, fruit producers? That we need all that coordinated, but then we've got to get it transported.
Logistics.
So, I don't know.
The two main ones: logistics and warehousing. Right.
Yeah.
The people would support such a venture, but it's how do we get that to the people, and then where do we actually trade that from?
Well, I've often thought. Oh, sorry, Bear. Where you go?
Sorry, a lot of things don't need to be done on a grand scale. Like we can be encouraging everyone to have backyards, chooks, and people with gardens to have allotment style things where within the My Place community or stuff, local stuff could be shared around. And so it's only sort of the bigger sort of meat productions and things like that which gets a bit tricky. So, apparently quail are the best production from food to meat, or conversion from food to meat. So we could start the My Place quail production.
Have you seen the size of Bergwerth? I mean, he eats half a cow. How many quails would you have to feed him to keep him?
Chickens are enough.
Guinea pigs are the other big one that they use, but I don't know how people feel about eating guinea pigs.
Rodents, don't they?
Rabbits also are known to reproduce rather quickly.
Rabbits are another good one
definitely,
too. But funny enough, apparently quail and guinea pigs are the two which convert food to protein.
So when you say guinea pigs, do you mean those Argentinian things that are the size of wombats?
Yeah, wombats.
Yeah. Argentinian guinea pigs.
Yeah. They're the size of wombats.
Really?
Guinea pigs are.
Okay. They taste like.
Oh, wow. Okay. Or do they taste like wombat?
Eat fruits and leaves.
They probably taste. I can't begin to think. Water rat, I suspect, but I forget what they're called, but they're really, really big. Whatever they are, and they're a delicate. Well, not so much a delicacy. They're eaten quite regularly, but they are part of the rat family, I think. Could be wrong. Might be. Oh, I beg your pardon. Part of the guinea pig family. I'm pretty sure, not the rat family, because they don't have tails. They look more like beavers.
So that's probably...
Thanks for showing us your pussy tonight, Beckio.
I brought her in especially for you, Carl.
Thank you. What's her name?
Miko.
Beautiful. I'm into animals, in case you didn't know, folks. Some of you have got filthy minds. I mean, really.
my place movement to start having backyard chooks because it's only and it snowballs. You start in your neighbourhood. I built one for my sister and dad, and you wouldn't believe it. The whole neighbourhood's out looking, and then everyone's going, "We've always wanted backyard chooks. Yeah, we're going to get chooks too." And it, starts a trend.
Snowballs, yeah.
And you moved away just as the business opportunity took hold. Bugger.
Yeah.
You could have been Sydney's best chook shed builder.
Yeah, I missed that opportunity.
I nearly said chook shed shifter, but
that too.
no, you were building them, not shifting it.
You could travel around the movement and start selling your own chook sheds, like the books that everyone sells, Instead of buy a book, buy a chook shed.
Yep. How about I just make a YouTube video and
we need industry back. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just saying whether or
start
not
a workshop for that.
Well, I've actually reached out to a number of people this week because I've had chooks and the girls had to go because they stopped laying. So you know what we do with chooks that don't.
Yeah.
But I need some more chooks, so I better get some before they all get wiped out in Victoria.
Blue season,
yeah.
So it's been a while since I've had anything to do with chooks, but does one get pullers or does one get there was another word, cluckers? Maybe I've got that wrong. But I know
is that like
there's pullers.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what the hell they pull.
Okay, well I get
well maybe they're baby roosters. Because you've got to think the baby lady chooks would be pushers in that case.
Pushes.
I'm just thinking, well, laying eggs.
Pushing them out. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I know there's a twist to my logic. It's pretty weird. Now, this bloody dog that wanted to go out is now whining his ass off to come back inside. Can you hear that in the background?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
you're going to have animal rights activists.
I know. Come here, human. Come here. Give me a moment.
We've got a similar problem with our dog. He wants to go outside and
he's pacing around.
Yeah, pacing around. I might just let him out.
Yeah, well,
we're taking this chat.
Excellent. So did everyone get to see have a laugh at with Trump's rally? He had a rally in the Bronx, and he seemed to have he got heaps of people. So it's for those who don't know, don't follow American politics. It's the Bronx in New York is a heavy blue or Democrat state, and there's no way that Joe Biden or anything would ever go to a red state and campaign. But Trump went into the beast of the belly of the beast. That sounds better. And absolutely nailed it. He had like heaps of I think they said about 40,000 people or something turn up in the Bronx. So
it's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
It's crazy how many he gets.
Crazy, isn't it? Just fantastic.
And isn't it convenient that the bird flu is just hitting
just
around the same time as what happened last time? That vicious
circle. And all those campus riots, all the Palestine, Israel, it doesn't really matter what you believe on that side of it, but these whole riots in the university campuses appear to be a psyop, in my opinion. And again, it's the prelude into the election season, isn't it? They're giving them an excuse to crack down mail-in votes. I don't think it's going to be enough this time, though. They're really struggling to.
When is the election? When is the election? Do we know?
November 20th.
Is it the 4th or 24th?
This year.
Another 4 months of shittery.
Yeah. It's usually the first Tuesday, I think, in November, isn't it?
Yeah, I think last year was in the 2021 it was 20th of November, so it's about the same, something around there, first couple of weeks in November. Wow. But Biden agreed to a debate. But Trump's demanding that he wants him drug tested beforehand.
I don't think you need to worry about that. You've got to worry about him forgetting to turn up, don't you?
Like that State of the Union, like if you saw that, they had him so jacked up on amphetamines that like people are noticing and they're going, "Hang on, look at this guy, he's off his head."
His eyes hadn't been open so much in ever.
2 hours of yelling at everyone.
So what do we think about Trump in court and going on the stand apparently next week to represent himself in this trial because he apparently is accused of paying a woman $200,000 not to tell people that she slept with him, which she has actually come out and said, I didn't sleep with him. Now, of course, the trial is also going on about his real estate assets and how they're undervalued. How would you go about valuing or undervaluing Trump Tower or the Trump Enterprise business or the Trump golf courses? Isn't this just so obvious, even to those of the left that are, locked hard there? Aren't they just seeing now this is ridiculous, that the world is waking up to the stupidity?
A lot of them do.
Everything is another step, isn't it? The more ridiculous it gets, then more people wake up. It's like you can't tell people, you got to show them. So this is what this whole movie that we're watching is all about, just waking up all these normies. We've been awake for a while. We've known all about this for years. But all these other people, we got to bring them with us, and the only way to do it is to do it slowly, and so slowly, more and more. And we're just, sitting here watching this.
So what do we say? Sorry, go on, Doris.
I said, how much does it pay to actually watch this unfold and watch people, rising from their slumber? It's like, come on, man.
You want to throw a bucket of water.
Okay. So from each of you, and let's start with you, Galactic Larrikins, first, what would you tell someone who is not a believer, so to speak, when they ask you, oh, look, nothing's happening, can't see anything happening? What would be one thing you would tell them to say, well, this is happening? Yes, thought-provoking.
That's throwing it in the deep end.
All right.
You would have to say vaccines would have to be the biggest.
You have to say the trust in the government and the trust in the medical industry and the trust in the media is wearing away, and everyone. My brother-in-law, for example, was an avid ABC watcher and listener, and believed all the propaganda that was involved in it. But even he now has come around and has said, "Oh, this was all rubbish. What they were lying to us. Why were they lying to us?"
Yeah.
So if he can wake up, then a lot of other people are waking up. And like I say, it's all incremental. It all happens very slowly, and it had to happen slowly because otherwise there just would have been chaos. And,
I agree.
Civil war. And then
I have a feeling that in Victoria, when we do run out of the poultry, when that goes off the shelves, just like the toilet paper went, maybe that'll shake some people up.
Shake a few more, that's it. Each thing.
I think the bigger issue at the moment, which is crashing down on us, is what's happening economically, and then what's happening with AI and jobs. I don't know if you saw what was it last week, that the latest sort of ChatGPT, which is now like an assistant thing, and it's a better teacher than anything. You can get it to teach you anything, and it just that is just a glimpse of where we're heading in the next couple of years.
Didn't Telstra just sack 20,000 workers or something because of AI? I saw something come up the other day.
But this is just the beginning. I mean, there's so many jobs or basically everything. What can't AI? And then what's his name? Elon's bringing out his robot. What's it called? The Transformer name?
Oculus.
Optimus. And he said, so this is his new robot, Optimus.
Do people not see what's going on?
I know.
Yeah, and I said we're between AI and robotics, but they can do it all better than we can. So
I think unless you're actually making something with your hands, creating, because as far as mind and intellectual property goes, that's it. AI is all over that, right?
all over
You know, I
everything
come from
from
the
lawyers.
world of marketing, and the amount of money that we used to pay for people to write our content.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious! All you do is you just type it in, and
we need to start using this as a tool to benefit us all. I mean, our legal system can be completely overhauled. Instead of having some stupid public defender who doesn't care and doesn't anything, we should have an AI public defender that you should be able to go to for free and can give you. Yeah, much better than anything else.
And then the judge should also be AI, so they're completely unbiased and impartial.
It can't be bought out and all the rest of it, and sticks to the law.
Yeah,
not this bloody rubbish. Oh, okay, well it's Trump. Well, we will do this. Well, we had a friend also, like in America, who got shafted during COVID. And they said, "Oh, you got a right to a speedy trial," but not during COVID. Unfortunately, we're suspending all constitution. And all of this rubbish. No. And AI is sticks to the Constitution. These are the rules. Okay. If you want to change the rules, then you have to do it by the blockchain vote. So AI has the potential as a tool for us to actually drive us into a new paradigm, which I think is going to happen.
Where do we draw the line?
Yeah, that's the question.
Control. It's the need of the blockchain where everybody can see and use an AI to decipher it quickly. Okay, what's going on? I know, like Kyle, you mentioned before with the digital money and knowing where everyone knows who's got what money. Well, ultimately, I hate to say it, but I think that's where we need to go, because an AI needs to track all finances and all financial transactions, so there can't be corruption.
Yeah, it's the only way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know it's a catch-22. But it's a tool, and if it's used right, it's going to take us into a new paradigm. If it's used wrong, it's going to be a nightmare circus.
It depends who's in control. And if you believe that the good guys are in control, which I personally do, then there's nothing really to worry about,
But I think also that we are, the good guys are in control, but we have to drive it forward. Yeah. You can't just sit back and sit on the couch and eat popcorn watching it and hoping it's all going to turn out right. No, we have to participate in this. So part of it is there's white hats helping us, for want of a better word, helping us, but they can't do everything themselves. We, as the society, have to drive this forward and actually demand it. And we have to participate in this. It's not just
I think the white hats are guiding us.
Yes.
But I think we are the ones that are going to change the world. Yeah, we're the good guys. We're the ones in control. We've just got someone guiding us, awakening us, showing us the corruption, the bullshit.
Throwing the opportunities out there. Yeah, okay,
I think we need to know right from wrong. Right. I think we really need to take responsibility of actually knowing what is right and what is wrong. And there are 8-year-old children who are using AI to write their essays. So.
But can they spell pen if they were asked?
Well, no, because
they don't need to. They don't need to, because very shortly they'll have Neuralink, and all of this will be at the tip of their thought, and they won't even know. They'll have their own AI assistant, and anything will be learnt instantly. But let's just go back to the AI. But what drives AI is data. Its lifeblood is data, and it needs all of our data to actually do what it can do. And that's the linchpin there. So what we need to do is push our society into where the data is ours and we own and we have sovereignty over all of our own data. Now, if we choose to sell that data to all of these companies, AIs, and all of these things, then we get a royalty. And that's how we can live within a society which is run by AI and robotics, and the lifeblood is data. We sell our data to them, and we choose what we sell and what control over it.
And it's all kept on the blockchain. So it's secure.
I can take away people's money, and you watch them wake up pretty quick, smart.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the privacy of, knowing what's in your own bank account, etc., etc. If we are going to elevate at all our level of consciousness as humans, or humanity in general, that would be part of it, wouldn't it? Because that is an ego, that is an egocentric kind of thing. We have this myth of privacy. If we have that sort of openness in society, aren't we sort of, in essence, talking about a form of communism? Everybody has the same, everybody is happy, except that isn't the case. Only the people have the same, which is nothing, and they're not happy. The elites have it all, and they are. Communism has never worked. AI could be working, it sounds to me, very similar lines.
With communism, they always have the elite who are in charge. With the blockchain, when we sort out all the corruption and get rid of all those elites, basically, then that problem won't be anymore, because everything will be out in the open. There won't be.
Yeah. You can only do the corruption if you can get away with it.
Yeah.
And the AI will stop that.
So does this level of lack of privacy extend to practically every area of our lives, do you think?
No, but I mean, again, you should have all of your own private medical stuff, but there's a point where it's of interest. It's very hard.
Would my AI assistant warn me if a pedophile moved next door?
If it was programmed to do so, but that's a pretty obscure thing to yeah, there's so much more beneficial things. Let's focus on that.
Well, tell that to the 6-year-old the pedophile next door rapes. But
I'm sure within that society that would be easily covered.
Yeah, hopefully by that stage they'll all have be at the bottom of the ocean somewhere, or
technically
it's in their brains, and we can track them.
I need to watch my job. What is it? Minority Report.
Minority.
Yes.
But again, with Neuralink, the ability to be able to fix neurological problems. Wouldn't pedophilia be classified as a neurological problem? So if they are being turned on by children, then you could flick the switch within their brain and fix that, rather than castrating them or trying to imprison them or do something which is not going to help. What if you could actually fix the problem neurologically? Same with transvestites or any of these neurological problems. We can actually start dealing with them from a neurological point of view and fixing it.
Well, one of Elon's test mice has woken up after having Neuralink inserted in his brain. He's a quadriplegic, quaddy from the neck down. He put himself up to be part of the trial and had the surgery, I think, a bit over a week ago now. When he woke up, the first words to his mother, who was standing beside him at the hospital bed, was, "Who the hell are you? I don't know who you are." And then he started laughing because he did remember who she was. But he actually had the surgery a while ago now that I'm referring to the article. Because it took him a few weeks to be able to make those neuro links to be able to type on the internet, for instance. Before that, he had a stick in his mouth and he was tapping out letters. Now all he needs to do is think about the words and they appear on the screen. That is going to be life-changing for quadriplegics, paraplegics, anybody with as you say, some sort of neurological disorder. I've been sitting in the sidelines for a while. Can I just introduce everyone to the lovely WikiLeaks chick? I thought we might be able to get a bit of an update on what's going on with Julian Assange. Hello, Wiki chick. How are you?
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Welcome.
So I'm not sure whether or not you know everyone. Becky O in the top there, Doris to the right, and two purple people eaters sitting in the right-hand corner. Quick change of topic. Julian Assange recently, in the last week or so, had a bit of a win in the UK. The High Court agreed to his appeal. Where does that leave him? If you're a believer in their justice system, you'll probably think he's in Belmarsh prison still, but there are other places he could be. Shall we first start, I guess, with that must be great news for Stella and the rest of the family that the appeal has been upheld.
It's a very small win, but we're very happy. It's a start. It gives us a reset on the court proceedings in Britain.
Yeah.
He's hoping that there's a definite change in people's perspective about it now. More people more aware of some of the subject matter that Julian has brought to the fore. And I think it's really important, especially given our current situation with possible nuke attacks and wars that they're talking about. I think to understand the beast is very important in these times, especially when everyone's on tenterhooks and it's very dangerous. We don't know what's real and what's the movie. And it's very hard to decipher. And for the average person who's still watching the TV, and I still can't believe how many people are still paying attention to that crap, everyone's scared and everyone believes it. As those of us that know what's going on from a Q perspective or from credible sources, there's still a lot to be concerned about. We don't know how this is going to roll out. We've been told from start, even with Q, that it's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be a breeze, and it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be very scary and very hard work, and we have to rise up. There's no choice anymore. Australia, unfortunately, even though we saw unprecedented protests and people turn out.
Yeah.
Oh, am I cutting out?
Yeah, just toward the end there. So there are, I beg yours, mate?
I think it might be you. She's crystal clear here.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
Roger.
Oh, okay.
It'd be all happening at my
Thanks.
end. Wouldn't be the first time everything's all happened at my end. Every day there seems to be a new story coming out, something that would waken most people up. We have been collectively, all of us, looking, as you mentioned, mainstream media news. The only reason I look to the news is to see what lies they are telling today and how easy to combat them they might be. Now, I've just flicked over to news.com.au, and the lead story tonight is ex-AFL hero charged. Now, this is a player who was a hero back in my youth, a guy called Barry Cable, played for North Melbourne. He is now being charged with child sex offences. I haven't read the story, but he is one. Diddy. Now, Diddy's been exposed to the world as the partner beating asshole that he truly is, and his music industry is being exposed, or his influence, I should say, on particularly the hip hop music industry is being exposed. This Julian Assange's appeal being upheld in the British High Court, which is, nobody was actually expecting that to happen. Everybody expects to see him marched out and put on a secret flight to God knows what hellhole, because they don't own Guantanamo Bay anymore. So God knows where they think they were going to go and put him. These are all things that should be stacking up in a layman's mind as something that makes you go, shouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the reason we won the case was basically that they could not guarantee they weren't going to kill him. And we know that the objective was, going back to Mike Pompeo, that he wanted Julian taken out, if nothing else but to prove a point and to scare everybody else quiet, shut us all up. Look at David McBride. There's no reason that these people, we're talking war crimes, and anyone who's seen collateral murder, you can't justify that. That's watching people in a helicopter, trained soldiers, acting like they're playing a video game with absolutely no respect for life whatsoever, and saying that they had AK-47s. They had cameras. They were cameramen, and they were innocent people. And then anyone who's seen it saw the van pull up with the two kids in the van, the father taking the kids to a church, which was a school lesson. And he got out to help one of the journalists that was crawling off the road, and they shot up that van and shot up the father. The father covered the two children, and one would say saved their lives. However, when the two foot soldiers that came in after the attack rescued those children and carried them back to the lines to get them help, they did not take them back to their hospitals to help them. They handed them over to the locals, which was basically a death sentence. And the young man that was shot up terribly, the young boy, grew to be a teenager, and he killed himself anyway. He couldn't live with what he'd seen. So it was pretty devastating, and I think that needs to be brought to the fore. We all know so much more now. We know that all of these wars are just a money-making machine for the same people on both sides. It's two sides of the same coin. It's all about money. It's all about resources. It's just not acceptable. It really does dumbfound me to experience the beautiful things we experience on this planet, in this living environment.
Yeah.
And that people, if that's what they are, because there's a lot of conjecture about, are we all the same? Personally, the odds are pretty slim. Statistically, I think there are differences on the planet, different requirements, and obviously there's a big power play. Yeah. Some of them don't like us. It's time that we stood up. If we don't, we're signing our own death warrants. I can't see it any other way, especially given what we've been through. As you know, I broke the story on what was in those, and it was a nightmare. I couldn't believe what I found. I think you saw it, Carl. Everything we've ever heard of, every disease we've ever heard of was in those, and they all had patents. Every single one of them had patents, which means they're man-made. Every single disease we've ever heard of, every one of them. And there were pages and pages. I had about 6 pages full of all the so-called variants that are popping up now and have been since the first lot. So I got scrubbed. It went viral for 48 hours, and then it got scrubbed from the internet and scrubbed from my computer quite skillfully. I have really tight security, being what I do and who I am associated with. They got in there, and that's all they scrubbed. They took nothing else from the computer, but they took all of that, every single bit of it. And luckily for 48 hours, a lot of people saw it, but even I don't have a copy because they got the lot. But it was, and they say Wuhan. Well, it got from Herbright Institute in Canada to Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe Fauci. But I suspect it's a little bit deeper than that, because we all know that Fauci's still a puppet too. And I think it comes back to the oligarchs of the bloodlines. And no matter what way I look at it, what way I investigate it, it comes back to the same thing. It's the same players. It always is. And when you look at all of the pharmaceutical companies, the top 4 shareholders are the same for all of them. And people were waiting for AstraZeneca, waiting for Pfizer, waiting for Johnson & Johnson. No, it's the same tiger. It's just
today about Pfizer that said, Pfizer been around since 1879 and never cured anything. They haven't. They've just been.
There's no money in cures.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
ridiculous.
not the half of it. In Australia, we have 163 IPN clinics. Now, I beg people to do research on an IPN clinic, because the same people that own all the big pharmaceutical companies are the same people that own the IPN clinics. We're talking BlackRock and Vanguard, etc. So there is no safety. And 163 of them in this country, one here in Victor Harbour. And I can tell you that was pretty scary. That was quite scary. We went to that medical centre, and the police got called because we had an exemption. They refused to let us in. We'd been there 3 times previously. Nothing happens in Victor Harbour, and I kid you not, the whole force turned out. It was pretty full on, absolutely ludicrous. And I was within my rights, and I tried to defend myself. Even the local police said, as I said, I haven't done anything wrong. the person I was with wasn't coping too well and didn't handle it very well. And they said, oh, you're tarred with the same brush. The attitude just absolutely rank. And that was welcome to the South Australian paradise.
Yeah, wow.
Very frightening, especially when this is a retirement tourist town. Yep. You can't get medical help here. You can't find decent doctors, dropping the ball everywhere. Plus, people have been lost here because they all followed suit, got the things when they were told to. And of course, we've got a very high mortality rate now where that's concerned.
Yep.
So, and on top of that, the doctors and the hospitals don't really want to touch you if you didn't have it, because some have cottoned on, but some haven't. It's a pretty scary time, especially when you know that here goes another one. They're gearing up to bring out another one.
Yeah.
And, I still can't believe there's people who have had all of them. These clinics know, the doctors know, especially the clinic that I actually went to up north coast of New South Wales. I gave them everything I had. And they've still got clinics now going, still giving it to people, and they know. Because for every 100 people that a doctor got to follow through, get all of the shots and all of the boosters, $40,000 payoff for every 100 people that they got to take the lot. That's a pretty big motivator when you're used to getting that little bonus back, or your little conventions or everything else. Where's your morals?
Do you have any documents
There's
that
just
like this? Sorry to interrupt, but is there a document? Because I've got hold of some from the States, but do we have any for Australia that actually clearly state the compensation?
So I know in Queensland. I know in Queensland that I should still have it somewhere. There was a schedule of fees for doctors to charge specific for the jab, and the fee got higher with the number of jabs you were able to coerce them into getting. So everybody rushed in and didn't require too much selling on the first one, and probably the second one. But after the second one, people were still coming back to get it, but were a bit hesitant. So the doctor had to do a bit more selling. It's good for you. You really do need it. No, those people are dying from other things, nothing to do with the jab. So they get the third, then they get the fourth if they live long enough to go back. And then they get the fifth. And the doctor is getting progress payments all the way through. So their first payment was contingent upon getting the second shot. Right, they'd get their second and first payments after making sure the person got the first shot, but were coming back and booked an appointment for the second shot. That's how they got paid. Yeah. And so they, in Queensland, and I suspect everywhere else, whole surgeries were handed over to just doing COVID treatment, while one, which might have had, half a dozen doctors working there, but one doctor was doing general medicine. So if anybody walked in with something else wrong with them, they got to see that person. But everybody else was doing double time duty, pushing through 4 to 5 people an hour. So those fees were $136 up to $180, I think, for second and third shots. And then I think this bonus that you speak of is a bonus that they get after 12 months, an X amount of people involved. So yeah.
I think with the first two.
Go on, Karen.
Sorry. The first 2 batches, we were lucky because only a third of it was affected because they weren't ready to go. And as much as I can't believe I'm saying this, but if Trump hadn't have rushed it, everyone was doomed. Because he rushed it, they weren't ready. They didn't have enough. So saline was 2/3 of the first 2 batches. After that, Rafferty's rules. It's to the mercy of some nurses or doctors that were actually issuing saline under the guise of it that saved people there. There's still people, everyone I know that had it, and those that had way too many, all of them. And certainly there's family members. I've lost 2 family members, including my 42-year-old my cousin's hubby, 2 young kids, 42, rapid cancer in the brain. It was terrible, absolutely devastating. And it was just so quick. And there's been another couple of losses. We have another relative that is showing the symptoms of some of the things that were in there. It's insidious to think of what they loaded them with and what effect that has on people. And of course, the cognitive dissonance, you can't talk to them. So the best you can do is, you know, when they're dizzy and they're having a stroke, I'm rocking up with ginger bears, you know, to try and help with the dizziness. There's nothing we can do. And at this point, with what's happening, you can't talk. You can't tell a 90-year-old that you shouldn't have had that, you know, and then the doctors just say, oh, he's 90 years old. No, he was fit and healthy, Italian, growing his own food, eating nothing but healthy food, no problems with his health until this. Yeah. You know, we're watching other family members that are the same thing, and there's nothing you can say or do at this point. You know, it didn't matter who you spoke to and what proof you had. They just didn't want to know because the cognitive dissonance and believing their doctors. We lost a very close friend who's the same doctors told her to have them, had saved her life previously from a heart attack. So she believed everything they said. And ultimately, it killed her very quickly. Yep. So, and even so, nobody, you know, by the time they realise it's too late, the damage is done and there's no reversing it. Not unless we get these med beds out to the public. Because at the moment, they're there, but we don't have use yet. And I mean, we know that we've got them in all the countries. We know they've got them here in Australia. They've got them across the world, but they're not ready to go yet for the general public. I think it's a case of who you know at the moment is the only thing I can gather from it. We know that it's here, but we don't know where. We're told that old army barracks or army setups and like military setups and old hospitals that aren't being used anymore are being fitted out with them. So that's the only info we have on that. But I know that there's so many people. I mean, I didn't get them. But I had flu shots before that, and I'd been given a tip in 2018 not to have it. Argued with my doctor. They said to me, look, come back, because in your bigger picture, Karen, it's important. I've got a multitude of things wrong with me. I have early degenerative disc disease, riddled with arthritis, a whole pile of other things. And it was just an unlucky draw, if you know what I mean. Probably brought on by different medications over the years. The domino effect, that's quite common. But the repercussions of that have left me trying. I'm going to the gym every day to try and keep my feet and legs because I was told I'd be in a chair at 40. I'm about to turn 57 and it hasn't happened yet, but I've got peripheral neuropathy, can't feel my feet very well and from the knees down. So I've listened to the doctors because I've been desperate and my back broke at 34. I was in Shenton Park in Perth for over 12 months with 18 months rehab to walk again. Yeah. So I'm terrified. So I've been listening to these so-called specialists, but, you know, one mistake by my grandma when I was 17, taking me to an Edelsten clinic, and that's where it went wrong. Wow. You know, you think, I remember going, how does he have the money for a helicopter? You know, how does he have the money for these beautiful lobbies with pianos sitting in the... I was going to say
chandeliers and pianos.
Yeah.
Well, bring on the...
But my grandmother, old school.
Yeah, bring on the med.
Yeah, bring on the med beds. That's what...
guys.
Yeah. I believe that.
We're getting close on an hour and a half, so I reckon we might just about leave it tonight. Wiki Chick, thank you for popping in and giving us a bit of an update on what's going on in that part of the world. Fingers crossed. We don't get too much news out of the Julian Assange world. The news that we might get about Julian Assange doesn't come from Julian Assange's world. It sort of comes from Pew and other areas. But for those people who are wondering, the true believers do not believe that he is in Belmarsh. The true believers believe he is anywhere else, and could well have been putting fuel in his Porsche in Tin Can Bay, as JJ said. It looked like he saw him there the other day. Could well be. I do think Julian Assange is playing a large role in helping to unveil things. WikiLeaks, the the video that we were discussing or that you brought up tonight is only one of over 500,000 documents and videos that WikiLeaks released to the world. It didn't just show, while that was a shocking example of just lazy soldiering, lazy target selection, lazy everything, there were so many other crimes committed by the Allies, not just the Americans, but by the Allies. And they've been well hidden up. And Mr. McBride is part of that now, I believe, too, with a lot of interlinked things going on with our Australian SAS, the public humiliation of Ben Roberts-Smith, amongst other things. And we're working on something at the moment there. We'll have something in the near future, I hope. But without the actual players coming to talk to us, it's pretty difficult. And I understand most of them are gagged at the moment. So, yeah, fingers crossed we'll have something coming through. Thank you very much, WikiLeaks chick. Say good day to your other half. Tell him he owes me a song. All right. See ya. The lovely ladies from Victoria. What can I say? I'm going to keep saying things to you for a lot longer, and I'm going to kick the Galactic Larrikins first, because now that they've moved into the brothel phase of the evening.
I know, that's the lights are red now. They're ready.
This is King Charles.
You can have you're talking about fireside chatting. Well, this is the fireside chat. We've got the fire on now.
Oh, really? Oh, look at that! How nice is that?
Yeah.
I thought
that's much better than the junkie room somebody suggested it looked like in the chat. Yeah. So, boys, quickly give us a bit of an idea. You've had a huge week. For the folks who don't know, the Galactic Larrikins losing a lot of weight, working their asses off, climbing up hills and down dales at the moment. This week they had a Sean to help them, and it's always good to have a Sean, because a Sean comes with big toys like bobcats and excavators and really cool things. Would you like to explain how the day went the other day?
Well,
Bradford?
yeah, it wasn't a good day for Sean. wasn't a good day for us here, but he was carving a road for us. We've got a very steep side of the mountain, and he's carving a road so we can get down to the bottom of it. And first of all, his bobcat caught on fire. He works too hard. Clearly caught on fire at the back of the thing. I had to race up the hill to grab a fire extinguisher, come down. We put it out. Anyway, only about an hour or so later, he's pulling a stump out. The stump falls and hits his window. He's got the two windows. You've got the front window and the bottom window down the bottom. Hit the bottom window, so that's smashed. And he's like, what is going on today? You know, what's going to happen next? He says, these things always happen in threes. You know, what's going to happen next? Jinxed himself, right? So then next thing, he's trying to pull out this trunk.
The other half of the trunk.
The other half of the trunk, basically, that he just pulled out and broke his window. And the claw that you use to pull it with snapped. And the whole of the whole steel hinge basically just snapped. So that was
two things I've never seen before in like 20 years of doing this or whatever, is his bobcat on fire and busting this the knuckle, the hinge, the
knuckle,
just
snapped.
Poor bugger, yeah. So they put an end to.
I guess the only thing you can say about that is thank God it was Sean's excavator and bobcat, not yours.
Yeah, well, that's why you hire a guy and don't buy one yourself, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So I was going to say the renovations, but the renovations you're doing up there are both inside and landscaping wise. You've managed to renovate the trains, which folks may or may not be aware of. You've got a whole magnificent train that people can stay in.
It's a 1910 Glenelg line train carriage brought up from Adelaide, and totally they renovated it, or redid it down in Adelaide so they could bring it up because it was in such bad condition. Brought it up the mountain, brought it up the road here, which is a winding, very narrow road. Don't worry though, you'll get your bus up here. Don't worry, it's okay. And put it up here about, I think it was about 2006 or something. So it's been there since then. So it's a little bit tired. So we're replacing the kitchen, giving it a bit of a paint job, doing the deck, staining the deck, that sort of stuff. And hopefully we'll have it on Airbnb in about a month, hopefully.
Hopefully
June,
less, maybe.
Yeah,
who knows?
a couple of weeks, a month. Yeah.
As soon as the kitchen comes.
But looking forward to it.
Well, if there were ever 2 deck stainers required, I'd find you to be the deck stainers I would recommend.
Well, that's good to hear. Luckily, they're only little decks.
Yeah, and thankfully none of us are Kiwis. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, boys.
Quickly, Carl,
you want to put something else in?
Yeah, just quickly to circle back onto our good old Jen Pazak. Circle back onto you're talking about the corruption within the doctors. Whether it's taking conferences on tropical islands or cash incentives for jabs, that would all be solved with my AI doctor.
There you
go. I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much. Bring on the AI and the robotics.
Thank you very much. I immediately went to Star Trek Next Generation and the AI doctor that they have there.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Goodbye, boys. Go forth. Enjoy cuddling the koalas tonight in your red room.
All right. It's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
And good night from him. That's the Galactic Larrikins. Ladies, just a joy to have you in, even though, Becky, you've said very little things. It's very hard to get a word in when there are so many of us.
I'm just
but
having
thank you
fun
both for
listening
coming.
to all the hoo-ha. It's pretty good.
Well, you can do that at home. You can just switch it on and watch the show then. That's just, now you're part of the hoo-ha. You're expected to contribute.
I have been. You've been dropping out, Carl. You've been in and out like...
I know. At least I was here for your best. I thought the best contribution, or one of the better contributions of the night, was your pussy. So thank you very much for bringing that to the party.
Won't even go there. Well, welcome, Carl.
No, you got to understand, folks, that these 2 women have led me astray while I've been in Melbourne in ways that no other 2 women could.
Not true.
I mean, particularly Doris's other half, Michael.
Michael's watching you in the other room. Michael's watching.
Where is the Kransky King? Yeah, I know. I got to say, I haven't had a Kransky in years, and at the market that I went to while I was down in Melbourne recently, Michael, the Kransky King, was cooking Kransky, and my Lord, I had 2 of them, and filling was good, yes, but oh God, they were wonderful and sold out that day. Now you've got another market coming up. Is it this weekend?
Yeah, this Sunday, and he's doing it again.
The Kransky King is back. I won't be there to partake, unfortunately. Where's your market this time? Same place, same time?
Same place, yep. So where are we? Albion Polish Club in Albion, 10 till 3. So
10 till 3.
10 till 3. We've stopped. We've actually bought out all the Kranskys in Victoria, believe it or not. He was
Is
driving.
that right?
Yes.
Well,
that's
I've
what
got to
happened
say,
when we plan. You see, he was supposed to have ordered some Kranskys at the beginning of the week, and no, he didn't.
Right. So the first 7 people to the market at the Polish Club in Albion on Sunday will get a Kransky.
No. There's actually a little bit more than we had last time because we sold out, I think, 2 hours before the close of market. So we've got you covered. Well, Michael's got you covered.
Now, last time you and I were talking, we were in the middle of yesing and knowing a whole heap of new designs for your product range. you want to let folks know exactly all the products that you can bring to the party when it comes to, well, doing things organically, doing things safely. And in my case, I have a whole heap of cleaning products, but there is a whole heap of other things, including products that clean you. Now, Doris has figured out the bottle now, so she doesn't put the dishwashing liquid in the shampoo bottle. But
no. Becky has learned how to read the bottle correctly, you see. That's where it all bloody started from. What did you do? You used fruit and vegetable wash as her veg wash.
As my body wash, because someone handed it to me and said, "Try this." And then they gave me dog shampoo instead of a normal shampoo, and I was washing my hair with dog shampoo. But, I've tried all the products.
But your hair didn't fall out. Your hair didn't fall out.
No.
You didn't start scratching behind your ear uncontrollably.
Oh, I have been tonight, actually.
He has been barking a lot of late, actually.
I have been barking a lot.
Got the leg going 100 mile an hour.
Yes.
I understand. So, Doris, tell us a bit about your products. How can people get them if they're interested in organic-y type products and the range of things that you have?
Well, you can come see us at the market, of course, but we do have an online presence. We do have a website where you can order these goodies from. We're literally covering everything that is necessary for personal care, and if we haven't got them yet, we will have them. So it's everything from shampoos to body washes, to some wellness products as well. We're all about, wellness, reducing stress. So there's some bath salts, castor oil. We're actually putting something together. Hopefully we'll have it launched on Sunday, but that really does depend on how quickly we wrap this up tonight. Our vision and belief is that no chemicals are used in none of our products. Absolutely no toxins whatsoever, right? You can get clean, you can smell nice without using any of that junk. And it just so happened that this week there was a big story about hang on, let me open up this little write-up. I've actually just done a blog about this.
Do you want me to share screen your little website, Doris, while I'm here?
Oh, well, if you can. If you can, my love.
Let's see if I can.
But I'm not sure if you sort of came across the recent study that has found that microplastics in every human testicle examined, potentially linking these particles to the decades-long decline in sperm counts in men worldwide. 100% of every testicle tested. Every testicle tested.
I'm intrigued to learn how you become a testicle tester. Right? Not that I want to.
I knew you would go there. I knew you would take that there somewhere.
Can you see the screen?
Yes. Look at you sharing on StreamYard.
Look at that. Continue, Doris. Sorry, I'll just go through your chat.
Come on, you're talking about your testicle testing.
It's about testicle testing. Look, there are toxins where we're exposed to them, okay, and we bring them home, unfortunately, and then we smother ourselves with them. So if we can reduce,
I'm not exposing my testicles to the environment on a regular basis. How am I getting toxins on my testicles?
Well, it's what you're putting onto your body, into your body. It's the actual packaging as well that is used.
Isn't it always? Isn't it always? I mean, they say size doesn't matter, but I think it's lies.
It is lies. Oh, thanks, Beck, for sharing
the website.
Thank you very much, darling. Yeah.
It might be helpful to say the website's name.
Vic West Organics. Yes.
I'll pop it in the chat.
whatever. Yeah, poke it up in the chat.
Yeah.
Go and check out Vic West Organics product range, folks. I can vouch for at least the ones that clean the kitchen and make the house smell nice.
We do have some amazing people that we support. A lot of them are members of our own community. So we have quite a number of products made by our community members as well. And of course, the greatest supporter makes the most amazing cleaning, toxic-free cleaning range for the home. So no excuse.
Hello, Anthony.
Come and get your sausage and your mold and mildew spray.
Not letting me share
Will there
that.
be any? Will there be any toxic testicle inspections going on around the Kransky stand?
Yeah.
I just be careful. A lot of Polish men around there. They know those Kranskys.
Oh dear.
All right, Doris, love you. Say hello to your husband for me. He loves you more. So go forth, be good with him. And I'll talk to you very soon. Good luck with Sunday. Vic West Organics, the Polish Club in Albion, 10 till 3. Albion is in Melbourne for people who don't know where that one is. So thanks, Doris. Talk to you soon.
Good night.
God bless you, Doris. Bye-bye.
All right. And Truth Seeker Chick. Hey, Truth Seeker TV get to speak to all the cool guys, including 107. I'm not a cool person. I've sat up for the last 2 nights until like 2 o'clock in the morning waiting for him to come good for an interview.
Oh, God bless him.
I'm not having a go. He's a busy man. But bloody hilarious. All you seem to do is bat your eyelids and he falls onto your show.
I make him cookies. That's the interesting thing. Juan likes his cookies. So
Is
I
that
always say
right?
to him, I'll bake some cookies if you come on, and he'll jump on. But yeah, we all know he's a very busy man. So he has promised me a number of times, and I've waited and no show. So you'll get him. He'll definitely come on with
it's
you.
all good. So tell folks a bit about Truth Seeker TV if this is the first time they're hearing about it.
So Truth Seekers TV, I started Truth Seekers TV. I think it was the election when Trump was getting elected the first time. I was red-pilled by one of my best friends. She took me down the rabbit hole in 2017. I always knew there was some bullshit obviously going on. There was just, the world wasn't right. So I started up Truth Seekers TV. COVID came and on Telegram, so we would just open up and have a live chat with quite a few of our members. Would sit there and have a good yarn and all talk about the issues that we were going through, because there was a lot of obviously mental health issues happening at that time with people losing jobs and not being able to pay the bills. So it was basically started off all of us coming together to unite and have a good support system. And then we would research and find truth on all different types of information, of the vaccines to the royal family, etc. What we're all been researching. And now I'm just focusing basically on helping with the My Place community. I found that is more rewarding to me at the moment. I was getting too distracted with all the other stuff. And I find being in that community setting with people, you walk away feeling like you've actually done something. So it's an absolute pleasure being part of My Place. And then also I've joined the Leave Our Kids Alone with Craig Cole. I'm a big supporter of all the work Craig's been doing, helping set up some pretty good events. And it's hard work. I really take my hat off to Craig for all the hard work that he's doing, and not many people are waking up. So that's a sad thing. But as they say, you just plant one seed and hope it grows into a million other
Unfortunately, it's a topic that is distasteful to many people to consider, to think about, to talk about openly. But it has to be spoken about. Without acknowledging it, we can't fix it.
It is a very hard topic.
Yeah. And I think, Craig, you are doing an awesome job hitting the streets, letting people hear the facts, whether or not they want to hear the facts or not. this becomes a social responsibility. Feelings, your feelings, I guess, important, but aren't the feelings of the children that this is happening to more important? Isn't it important that, those people who feel a bit precious about hearing maybe some of the details involved in what you guys are talking about and find it uncomfortable, or, oh, I couldn't speak about that. Well, that's what we have to push through, because those kids go through a hell of a lot more uncomfortableness than that.
Yeah.
And we owe them as adults.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're our future. Like we've destroyed a lot of it for handing them a device so we could get on with our own little life and watch our TV shows or whatever. I mean, we're all guilty of something. But it's a very hard topic, and it's really hard when you are on the streets trying to give out a pamphlet to let them know of the corruption that is happening within the schools, and with all the transgender pushing that they're pushing on the children in the schools quietly, with the wellbeing days and so on. They just, some of them just don't even want to know, which is quite shocking when you see them walking alongside with their kids. I think we've got a really long way to go, and people need to start really researching and heading over to Craig's website. He's got so much information there. It's crazy for you to,
Leave the kids with a Z alone.org is the website, isn't it? Leave the kids with a Z alone.org. Don't type in with a Z, just spell kids with a Z.
Yeah.
That's the bit I'm getting to. Got to be sure about that. For folks, if you didn't catch the Vic West Organics website, I'm posting that up into the chat now. So you should be able to find that in there. Go and check it out if you're into some of Doris's products, or maybe you're into all of them. Maybe you're interested in distributing them. Oh, God, you'll well, you'll give her
discount code
more than a grand. Yeah, exactly. We'll figure something out there. So when are you next putting a show together? When can people come and find you, and what's your Telegram channel?
So it's Truth Seekers channel on Telegram. We've got a whole heap of others. So we've got Russia, Indonesia, America, all other parts of the world, that we've got other people that have joined Truth Seekers, and we've given the channel over to them to put real news out there. But Truth Seekers, the main channel on Telegram, I'll pop that in. I'll send it to you, Carl. I think you should have it. But
absolutely.
We're just there sharing truth. We will do a couple of more live shows of a night just to have a chat with people, but we're really focusing on community and how to get your supply chain ready for obviously things to come, because I think that's the most important part. I think there's too many distractions, Carl, at the moment with all this hoo-ha going on. We really need to focus on what's going to happen. And
I agree. Just keep focused on building the community, on getting your food production, getting sustainability, and the logistics of your food sorted. You're going to need it sometime in the not too distant future, I got a feeling. Becky O, my love to you and the two other men in your life. Give them my best.
You. I will. Thanks for having me. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye. Becky O from Truth Seekers TV. Thank you, folks. It's been one of those nights. We've gone nearly 2 hours. So thank you for sticking with us if you've managed to stick with us that far. Good to see a great chat going on tonight too. Good to see so many interesting comments coming out of certain people. I'll be keen to flick back through a few of those, and a certain bit of direction being given at various different times as well. I'm sure that direction will be well heeded and well taken. If you are heading out and about over the weekend, folks, then please be safe on the roads. There are dickheads out there everywhere, and they keep wanting to exercise their ability and free will to do whatever dickhead thing they want. I've experienced 2 of them today. I'm just over it. At any rate, Over the weekend, I have a few things on. It could be in Caboolture tomorrow. There's a rodeo. Sunday, what's the date? Sunday, I'll be in Canungra, and we will be doing a little bit of a show from a vintage motorcycle show, I think, is happening in Canungra on Sunday. So I thought I'll go and have a look, and I'll take you with me, just because I can. All right, be safe on the roads. Talk to you then. Bye.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!